Hi, this is Paul Palazzolo, your Sangamon County Circuit Clerk, and this video was produced to assist you in the filing of an emergency order of protection with children. The emergency order of protection is a way to request a court order against an individual to prohibit that person's contact with you, your children, either at home or at work. Now, this petition can be filled out and must be filed with the Circuit Clerk's office electronically. You can accomplish this either from your home computer or from one of our kiosks located in the Circuit Clerk's office in room 405 of the county building on the corner of 9th and Adams Streets in downtown Springfield. Orders of protection can be filed on behalf of children or a disabled adult. Now, Sojourn shelter advocates are available at the courthouse on the 5th floor outside of courtroom 5B, again on the corner of 9th and Adams Streets in the county building. They're available from Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. to personally assist you. Please listen and follow the instructions carefully to ensure that the courts are clearly aware of what you are asking them to grant in that order of protection. During this video, please feel free to pause it so that you can fill in your information and then resume play. Now, here to guide you with filling in your information will be Sojourn Shelter Advocate Kayla Williams.
We're going to go over how to fill out an order of protection, particularly if you're filing on behalf of a minor or a disabled adult. On the first page, you'll fill in petitioner's name, and directly underneath that, you'll mark that you're either filing on behalf of a minor child or a high-risk adult. Underneath that, you'll fill in the respondent's name. The respondent is the person that you're asking the courts to keep away from you. Underneath that, on the line, I request an order of protection against, you'll fill in the respondent's name. Always mark the first box underneath that line, and only mark the second box if you told the respondent that you planned on filing an emergency order of protection petition. Below, where it states petitioner information, please list your address. If the respondent does not know your address and you do not want them to have access to this address, please list an alternative address and mark the blocks below so that the clerk's office is aware that this is not your physical address. On the line below to petitioner information, where it states full name, age, state of residence, and relationship to petitioner, please fill in the information of the protected party. You will need a first and last name, and instead of age, you need to list that person's date of birth, 2-digit day, 2-digit month, and 4-digit year. You'll list their state of residence and also their relationship to you. On the bottom of the first page, you'll fill in all of the respondent information, including date of birth, 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 4-digit year, along with the sex, the last 4 of the social security number if you have it, race, weight, height, hair color, eye color. Also fill in the respondent's address or work address so that the sheriffs have somewhere to serve the petition. For the second page, you'll fill in the relationship. The relationship will be the relationship to the abused person. If you do not see your relationship listed, then that means you are unable to file an emergency order of protection and will have to file a different petition. Underneath relationships, you'll have an area for background information. If there have been any prior orders of protections, please mark the yes box. Fill in the name of the petitioner and the name of the respondent. If you do not have any additional case information, that's okay. The court will be able to search for the rest. If there is a child that is a part of a protected custody or guardianship proceeding, please list the name of the petitioner, the name of the respondent, and any case number information you have about that. For the third remedy, if there have been any civil, criminal, or divorce proceedings involving one of the protected persons and or the respondent, please mark yes and fill in any of that information. For the fourth remedy, you'll mark which of the boxes pertain to your situation. Mark box 1 if you reside in the county. Mark box 2 if the respondent resides in the county. Mark box 3 if the abuse occurred in Sangamon County, or mark box 4 if petitioner is here to temporarily avoid abuse. On the third page, you want to list the date of your incident and then describe to the judge what took place that brought you down to the courts to file an emergency order of protection. Be as detailed as possible so you're sure that the courts have all the necessary information to consider your petition. On the fourth page, you'll fill out the remedies section. Remedies involving personal property, or Remedy 1. If you're filing on behalf of a minor, you will mark the first box next to the R1 that states, with respect to all protected persons, that the respondent be prohibited from committing the following acts of abuse or threats of abuse. You will always mark the first box, harassment, interference with personal liberty, physical abuse, or stalking. If you're filing on behalf of a minor child, you will mark the first box and the second box, which also indicates intimidation of a dependent. If you're filing on behalf of a high-risk adult, you'll mark the first box next to R1. You'll mark the second first box, harassment, interference with personal liberty, physical abuse, or stalking. And you will also mark the last box of exploitation. Next to Remedy R3, you'll check the 2 boxes, and then on the line right after least, you'll put 500 feet as a stay-away order that the courts will issue. Underneath the stay-away order, next to box B, you'll list all of the addresses you're asking the court to have as protected addresses. If the respondent does not already know these addresses, please do not list them on your petition. The respondent will get a copy of the petition, and if they don't have those addresses, they will when they get served. If you don't want to list your location, just put withheld on the line. Remedy R14 states that the respondent is prohibited from entering or remaining in the residence or household while under the influence of drugs or alcohol and constituting a threat to the safety or well-being of petitioner or petitioner's children. If there is a court order in place and you are not requesting that the child be a protected party, mark this box if substance abuse is an issue. Under Part B, for the remedies involving property, please list the home address that you are asking the courts grant you possession of. And then underneath that, check which box applies to your situation. If petitioner's name is the only name on the lease, you'll mark the first box. If both petitioner and respondent have their name on the lease, you'll mark the second box. For Remedy R10, if you have any personal property that you're asking the courts to grant you, mark the box A next to Remedy 10 and list all of the property that you're asking the courts to award you. Underneath that, mark that petitioner, but not respondent, owns the property. If you are asking for possession of the home, you can go down to Remedy C and mark that respondent be given his clothing, personal adornments, and medicine. Scroll down to the box 3 next to Remedy 10, mark at the residence, and that the transfer of personal property will take place in presence of law enforcement, and that the respondent has the right to enter the residence to retrieve the property, but only in the presence of law enforcement or other designated third parties. Remedy 11.5 addresses any issues as far as animals are concerned. If you are asking that the courts grant you the exclusive care, custody, or control of any animal owned, possessed, leased, kept, or held by either the petitioner or the respondent or a minor child residing in the residence, then you'll mark a Remedy 11.5. Part C for the remedies petition involving children, you want to do exactly as you've done on the first page. You'll list the child's full name, date of birth, state of residence, and relationship to petitioner. If you are requesting from the courts that a high-risk adult be included in the petition, Remedy C is not a remedy that you will have to fill out. Underneath where the child is listed, you will mark who the primary caretaker of the child is. If you are asking that the courts grant you temporary custody of that child, next to Remedy R5, mark the box. If you are asking the courts that a respondent not be allowed to remove a minor child from daycare or school grounds, underneath Remedy 5, mark the box next to B. If you would like a written order of the order of protection sent to the school so that the school knows that the minor child is a protected party, mark box C and list the school's address. Okay. Remedy 6 deals with the rights to the minor child as a protected party. Mark the appropriate box and indicate if parental rights have been established either through marriage or a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity or signing of the birth certificate. For Remedy R7, mark whether you're asking the courts to deny or restrict visitation of minor child or high-risk adult. If you're asking the courts to deny it, mark box A and deny right next to it, along with all the reasons underneath that you are asking the courts to deny that visitation. If you are asking that the courts restrict it, you'll mark the box next to restrict it, as well as all the reasons why you're asking the court to restrict visitation. If you want to reserve visitation until further hearing, meaning deal with it at a later court date, you can mark Remedy B. If the respondent has made threats to take the child out of state without your permission, go down to Remedy 8 and mark that box. If you are asking that a respondent return a child to you, you can mark Remedy 9 that states the respondent will appear in court with the minor child and the reason underneath why you're asking them to appear in court with the minor child. If you are asking that the respondent not have access to any information that would allow them to find out where you or the minor child are, you can mark Remedy 15 and why you're requesting that the respondent not be able to obtain school records. Part D deals with firearms. So for Remedy 14.5, if the respondent has any firearms, please mark that box along with any other situations that may apply, such as they've threatened to use firearms against you, or you believe that there is a strong reason that they may use those firearms against you. Underneath, where it says further respondent, please mark all the boxes that apply. Next to the second remedy, if you know what type of gun it is and where that gun is kept, please fill in that information so that the Sangamon County Sheriffs can access the weapon. Do not worry about economic remedies for the emergency order protection petition. For the 9th page, the only thing that you'll need to do is go to the bottom of the page and sign where it says signature of petitioner. After your petition has been completed, you can take the petition down to the 4th floor of the Sangamon County Circuit Clerk's office and they'll help you get your petition filed. Please be aware that if there are any areas that are not filled out in the petition or that need more detail, your petition may be rejected by the Circuit Clerk's office for e-filing. If you have any questions about the process, please feel free to reach out to our Sojourn Legal Advocacy team. You can reach us directly at 726-5100, extension 215.